Yes, I can totally hear you now.
Well,
Speak.
I am speaking.
Speak more.
More.
Speak a whole lot more.
Well, come on, I just said something. Let's not be ridiculous.
All right, well, this is just testing levels and determining how much we have to speak, how often. Probably don't want to turn it up that high.
Hello, Barry White.
So, 3, 2,
2, 1.
And welcome to the inaugural episode of The Mean Geek, comics podcasting on the edge of civility. We got myself, the host, pseudo-host, kind of moderator. I don't know what the fuck I am these days. But Adrian, the Tech Jedi Hunter, classical geek of many decades now. And along with us, we have the Reverend Mad Duck.
Bless you, fuckers.
Since this is a new podcast, we're just going to introduce ourselves for a little bit, and then we'll just jump right the fuck in. So, Rev.
Yes.
Comics.
Yes.
A while now. What do you dig? What do you
well.
Particularly do you just not fucking stand?
Let's see. Anything with Smurfs, I'm against.
It's a good start.
Totally and utterly. No, you know me, dude. I like a lot of really strange and bizarre things. I have a complete run of Howard the Duck, which is never popular. First comic I remember reading was Tomb of Dracula.
That was the first one.
Yeah, with Gene Colan, so that should give away a lot right there. I like a lot of Garth Ennis stuff, Alan Moore, Frank Miller before he became a director and all preachified.
Preachified. That's very good about Miller, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
He's pretty much standing on the pedestal of, I know my fucking comics, and I know what's good for your comics, too. Here's fucking comics.
Well, there's a lot of pedestals out there. I believe John Byrne has 8.
Yes, and somehow he manages to stand on all of them simultaneously.
I prefer to think of it that he bounces from pedestal to pedestal, depending on day and mood.
And Tomb of Dracula was when? You were how old?
Oh, gosh. 7 or 8.
Wow.
We found it in the attic. Along with Howard the Duck, actually. It was a red letter day, really.
And you just kept on going.
Haphazardly.
Fits and starts here and there.
Yeah, I would buy things, fill out collections, then forget about it, and then start up and then forget about it. I lost a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Gave a bunch of stuff away, of course.
Yeah, NFL Super Pro, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that one, God, if there was any book that ever deserved to be used as fucking toilet paper, it was going to be NFL Super Pro. Or Night Nurse. One or the other. I
still miss my copy of Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew, though.
Those aren't actually difficult to find. I saw a couple at a couple of cons.
See, that's a terrifying thought.
Isn't it, though?
How about you? What was your first comic?
Well, the first one I actually remember reading was actually An Unknown Soldier.
Nice.
From the very early 80s. Got it from a house on Halloween. Didn't know what the hell I was reading. Had a backup story called about, I think it was a B-52 or some super fortress like that. One of those big, nasty-ass planes in World War II called The Ruptured Duck.
The Ruptured Duck.
We ought to look that up and see if we can find it someplace.
Cool. On behalf of other ducks, I don't feel the need to find a ruptured one, but you go right ahead and do that.
But and that was it, really, until about 14 when I moved to this place.
Yeah.
This place being Connecticut. So, if you've never been to the Northeast, particularly in Connecticut, in fact, you're not missing a whole shitload, are you, Bill?
We have a lot of weather.
Yes, plenty of weather. But then we moved here. I had a few extra bucks because I was working in my grandfather's craft shop. And I'm walking around this nasty-ass general store called Kenny's. You remember Kenny's?
Yep.
And he had a rack full of comics. And I had a pocket full of money. What was I going to do? I bought Marvel Saga number 4. Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe.
That's what you started with, Marvel.
Yep.
You are a dork. No, let me not read something with a plot. Let me start with an encyclopedia.
That's geekiness, man. Yeah, let me find out what's going on.
You were the king of all geeks, sir. Congratulations.
Geeks. Yeah, and I'm
all bow down to you.
Retarded for it too,
Oh man.
But then the actual, the first #1 I ever bought?
NFL Super Pro?
No, that's not it. That would be many years later.
Right.
You're going to love this. And it's a big book now. A lot of people are talking really good stuff about it now. But back then, holy fuck, it was, what the hell were we reading with this? Fucking Booster Gold.
Booster Gold.
Have you ever owned a Booster Gold?
No, I have never owned a Booster Gold. I did really enjoy Giffen and DeMatteis's Justice League.
That was some amazing stuff.
Featured Booster Gold, but no, individual Booster Gold stories have never really tickled my fancy, as it were.
Well, so you're talking about not tickling fancies. What just plain hacks you the frig off? If you see it in a book, you just want to rip the fucking book apart.
Let's see, that I hate.
Plot lines, character traits, doesn't matter. Art.
Well, I mean,
reused sentences like Chris Claremont used to do, that old bastard.
Now, I remember that one of us was a huge Claremont fan back in the day.
Yeah, until he went insane when he still seemed like he had something in the back of his head that might end up interesting.
Dude, you were still reading when Sovereign 7 was coming out, so I don't know that interesting was still calling to you.
That's accurate. So, but you know what? It lasted 12 issues. I lasted 7. So,
man. No, my basis is always story. So, story is what intrigues me. The stuff I really liked was Simonson Thor's.
That's good stuff.
Armor Wars 2, Craven's Last Hunt. These individual stories.
So the overarching thing is not too big with you?
No. I mean,
if you could get it done in one versus a 12-issue maxi series.
Well, I mean, if something continues along well, I'm going to keep picking them up. Untold Tales of Spider-Man by Busiek back in the day was a fun read. I was always very random and eclectic, without ever trying to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, eclectic. You don't even like that word. How did you even just use it now?
It's a horrible word, but it's sadly valid. I mean, I have every issue of Howard the Duck. There's no way you can not, go from that. What other talking pantsless duck comic is out there? And then of course, I was a big Doctor Strange fan, which was a bizarre book. Used to read all the G.I. Joe comics. And
G.I. Joe, dude, it's fucking Larry Hama, man. They're reprinting his stuff now.
Really?
Yes.
There's a masterwork Larry Hama floating out there.
Pretty much, yeah.
I would not have anticipated
insanity, isn't it? I remember getting that. I got number 8 up, and I could never find number 2 because they printed it less, so everybody was like, I need $80 for this.
I had 2 actually back in the day. I never had 1 though. I had the giant treasury size edition, the sort of thing you read with a loose leaf binder, so you could take notes from page to page.
You know what I saw the other day in the shop?
What's that?
The first 12 issues of Transformers in one book.
Never read it.
It's quite all right, because when I flipped through that, I was like, yeah, I remember this. I was 14. This was good shit. And fucking Bill Sienkiewicz covers on them. And I was like, I'm going to look back on this thing. And I looked it up, and I'm like, holy crap, what is going on in here? This just looks like complete dookie, dude. There was no detail anywhere of anything. I was like, what? No.
I never even owned a Transformer. I did have quite a few G.I. Joes, but never a Transformer.
Yeah, we could never afford Transformers, which is probably one of the major things that makes me the bitter fuck I am today.
Your lack of Transformers created a bitter old man.
Remember
that, parents.
It's a factor.
And your kid's like, I need this toy. Think about what a 38-year-old him is going to look like sitting in his chair, sucking down Mountain Dew and bitching about the world of tomorrow. And buy them the toy. Save yourself a lot of pain.
What are you going to do?
Buy them a Transformer,
Absolutely right. Get them a goddamn Transformer. So, but, things that... I know you don't read X-Men.
I do not read X-Men.
Nobody I know to this day reads X-Men.
It does seem a popular book. There's got to be a couple people out there.
Yeah, but I don't know them.
Fair enough.
So they're clearly not, civilized human beings.
Yes, because civility is key. No, but you were a huge X-Men for years.
I was for a very long time. And then Onslaught came.
Onslaught is what did it.
Onslaught is what did it. Onslaught is what made me look at the books and say, this is right, Duque.
Yeah, so the fact that Professor X has walked and lost the ability to walk 17 different times.
Well, that's certainly irritating. I mean, flip a coin on the thing. Get with the program, find a party line, stick to it.
I always think that I'm waiting for more retarded mutants because they're all related. So the bloodlines of mutants are very small. So eventually there's going to be a much wider array of mentally challenged mutants. It stands to reason. This guy is Professor X's brother. This is his mother's sister's cousin Irving, who has the ability to file. There's a lot of mutants out there, and there's a blood relation between all of them.
They're going to end up like AKC puppies after a while.
Exactly.
Like Wolfie. They're just going to... Woof.
I believe there's so many different mutant powers floating out there. I believe the ability to bark is now considered a mutant ability.
Well, now that they've wiped them all out, maybe the gene pool will be slightly cleaner.
They're still related, though. They just don't have any powers,
Well, yeah, there is that. So that's definitely one of the things that's irritated me to great degrees is, having read a book for so long, enjoyed it so long, and then something that dumb happens. It's like, you know what? I'll take this month's detective. I'll go to town on that. What? So what else we got? We got irritating things. We're like 12 minutes in. We got nothing. These things are usually, 30 minutes to an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good to know. I should have drank more. What are you reading right now?
Right now, I'm digging on the 2 Avengers books, because Dark Avengers is pissing me off. Because I cannot understand how the government, knowing who the hell Norman Osborn is, would let him take over the entire organizational structure of S.H.I.E.L.D. and remake it in his own fucking image.
There's actually a 2-point reason for that. A, he's very convincing.
All right.
And B, the lines in his hair are actually hypnotic. It's a little-known mutant power that the Osborns have, is that as he moves his head, you're watching the lines move, and you'll just follow his lead. So,
I guess
that's
that
a little-known fact.
But Cap is really good. I'm enjoying the hell out of that. I'm kind of very trepidatious about when the hell they're going to bring him back and how. Because he's already been a ghost once.
When was it?
It was a Thor thing. He visited the grave and spoke to Steve as a ghost. Oh, he's a god. He's got god powers. He can speak to the dead.
Really? That's a god power.
That's a god power. It's not.
This is a god power that he has never before and will never again. Just the one time.
He's All Father Thor now. Say that 5 times fast.
All Father Thor. No, once is enough.
So, yeah, and Loki gone right back. Even though he's a semi-hot chick now, he's gone right back to all his former trickster idiocy.
Wait, let's step back a moment. Loki is now a semi-hot chick.
Yes, depending on, who draws him.
Him. Who draws him? It.
Well, technically gods are really neuter because they are all... It's kind of reaching, I know.
Yeah, no, here, let me make a small but important point that I've read Greek and Roman mythology, and gods fuck a lot. Like, they bang. Alright, they're like the Paris Hilton of ancient Roman times. Yeah, you know what? I'm a pile of gold, let's have sex. I'm a duck, let's have sex. There's...
Yeah, that one, I was like, I can kind of see a bull. You can hear a fucking bull. But a swan?
So you can kind of see having sex with a bull.
I can't. I can see how some women in the ancient world may have been intrigued by this. Because they were closer to nature then.
Yeah. Nobody's that close to nature.
Some Germans are that close.
All right. Again, we have different video rental policies, so I'm forced and happy to take your word on that. The number of Scandinavian films that I watch is much smaller than you. Gosh darn it. Good God. But no, I mean, why is he a woman? When did that happen?
Well, they had Ragnarok, finally. A real one.
Yeah.
Where Asgard was pretty much disjointed from reality. It wasn't totally destroyed, but now it's small enough to fit in Oklahoma, where it hovers above the landscape.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Valhalla is in Oklahoma.
Asgard is in Oklahoma. So, when that happened, all the gods and citizens of Asgard were dissoluted, however you phrase that. They were not disintegrated, but, they were made... Oh.
That's actually less helpful.
Yes.
They were made an odd noise with bad hand gestures.
Their souls were dissolved and
so they no longer
from
exist.
Their bodies were destroyed. Their souls were transplanted into humans. And Thor was able to get some of them out of the bodies and recreate their Asgardian bodies. And some of them were a bit more stubborn. So Loki now has a rack. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know what?
This is where you're becoming irritated with
this is where I live. This is where irritation lives. Because, you know what? I recall when Thor was a frog. And I was able to get through that because it was like a 2 to 3 issue frog.
Yes.
But...
Well, this has been more than a year now.
Yeah, see? That's a long frog. And no. So how many of the gods has he recreated, and how many are still floating in the ether?
There might be a few that are still left, but according to everything I've read the last year and a half, he's pretty much found everybody. I still don't understand why Loki doesn't feel like getting his regular body back, but... yeah. So that's irritating.
Would that make him Lokai? I mean, would you change the accent on the I to make it more feminine?
That's a very good question. We'll have to ask JMS, since he's the maniac that's been writing this stuff lately.
Well, I mean, Babylon 5 did feature a lot of weird sexual identity things.
Yeah, there sure were. As good as that show was, I really don't know what was in his head a lot of the time. But it's funny they didn't let him pull that shit on Spider-Man.
Enough things have happened to Spider-Man, all right? And there is a Spider-Girl. If he were to change sex, that'd just be depressing.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, thanks to fucking Casada, everything's back in hunky-dory now.
And this brings us to another of your telling points. That was a lovely segue, by the way. Brand new day.
What a load of stinking monkey paw. You know what? It might be the best Spider-Man shit since the early 80s, the late 60s, since Ultimate Spider-Man with Bagley and whoever the fuck that was. Anyway, it might be the greatest thing since, but I just cannot get past the concept that Peter would be so horribly filled with despair that he would make that deal.
Well, you gotta remember, Peter's a manic depressive. Peter should be on medication. Like, if they had little spider-shaped pills, Peter should be popping one at noon and one at 8 p.m. before going to bed. Because Peter cries a lot.
Yeah, that is the truth, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about it. He quits his job. He's not happy in his relationships. He feels guilt over things that are not his fault. Peter is...
a lot like the Reverend.
Peter is not a happy camper, and most of his storylines are based on the fact that he should be on medication. If you really break it down...
Yeah, but he's always fought through that shit for the most part.
Well, he's fought things while going through that shit.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, but at the end of the story, he was never a fundamentally happier person.
And if he was, there was always that last panel where he'd suddenly turn back like, yes, I'm happy now, but what comes next?
Yeah.
With the little half spider mask over one side of the face.
Yeah, a bit fatalistic there. So that's why I don't buy Spider-Man anymore. It's coming out 3 times a month now.
Well, yeah, there's Spectacular, there's Interminable.
Amazing is coming out 3 times a month.
Wait, what?
Amazing is coming out 3 times a month.
So you can buy Amazing Spider-Man 3 different times.
Yes.
You sure this isn't just like a multiple cover?
No, this is 3 full issues.
So Amazing has 3 different creative teams.
Sometimes they do move back and forth, but they're trying to keep things semi-stable and just rotating, so that it's not some horrifying burnout that, the end of next year he's back to fucking fighting Cletus Cassidy. I'm dropping stuff now.
It shouldn't be Byrne. I mean, if John Byrne could write every book for Marvel back in the 80s, then there's no reason that you can't write 3 comic books in a month. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, I would think that, but we can see that ain't always been the case.
Oh, man. So, what else have you been reading? No DC?
Oh, yeah. I started going with Green Lantern. I'm kind of confused about what's going on there, but it's not too difficult to pick up if you pop open a Wikipedia page. But
yeah, I try to avoid comics that require me to go to the internet and look things up.
Yeah, that's irritating. That's definitely irritating. But, when you're 30 issues in, what else are you going to do? Are you going to go buy back issues? I'm still testing that one out. Maybe that's going to stick around and maybe that ain't. But Jeff Johns is a pretty decent guy on the whole professional writer scale. So I might stick. No. It's hard to say. We'll see what happens after this big-ass event. Where the supposed zombie heroes come back. Nobody knows if they're going to be just fucking zombies or if they're going to be inhabiting other bodies or what. But I'm hoping they're zombies myself.
See, I was hoping that they would take characters from the actual universe, because I really wanted Black Manta, the Black Lantern.
Nobody wants Black Manta for anything.
And really Black Adam, the Black Lantern.
Black Adam has got his own gig going on in JSA, man.
Yes, by
very
Jeff Johns. So you see,
oddly enough.
Yeah, so, there is a correlation to carry that over. That's all I'm saying.
There's a chance that might work.
So I was just hoping for that. Black Lightning, the Black Lantern. And then you got a BLBL, so...
Oh, that's bad. BLBL. But, okay. That's next book. Let's see. I haven't started picking up Booster Gold again. I got the 1 million issue.
The 1 million issue?
Yeah, what they did was, somewhere in the 90s, they decided, what would DC Comics be like if they reached 1 million issues?
Oh, I think I have a Hitman for that, where... I think, yes, if memory serves. I didn't totally find that necessary, but hey,
So, what else? There's never going to be any change from me getting, Bats and Detective.
You are an addict.
I'm a total addict, but it's cool.
Oh, it's good right now?
No, I mean, I'm an addict. It's cool.
Oh, okay.
It's very confusing right now because he's supposed to be dead. He's not really dead. He was shown a burnt husk, and yet somehow he's in a goddamn cave.
Well, he's always in a goddamn cave.
No, by himself, like with some dead guy. He's never hung around strictly dead guys unless it was Boston Brand.
Or Alfred.
Well, Alfred's never really dead. He's skirting pretty close.
I don't know. The man doesn't look healthy. That's all I'm saying.
He's skinny as a rail.
So Alfred was not a Skrull or whatever?
Alfred. At this rate, Alfred could be a fucking Skrull, man.
That would be the greatest crossover ever. DC Skrulls.
They already had Jarvis be a Skrull. That was irritating.
I'm just saying, maybe it's a Skrull Butler theme.
There could be a motif going on there. So, but now there's the whole battle for the cowl, and maybe Robin will be Red Robin, and maybe Tim Drake will be Batman, and everybody wants Nightwing to be Batman, which I can kind of see because, he's the oldest sidekick. He's the one that's really come into his own. But I think that's almost too obvious.
I really don't know that superheroes should follow the Teamster idea of whoever has the most time in gets moved into the spot. I'm not sure that that's really the best model to present.
Well, that's why a lot of people want Tim Drake to be it, because Tim wants to be fucking Batman. He volunteered for that shit. The other two, bats just kind of said, I'll take you in if you hang out and kick somebody's ass and save me every once in a while. My little monkey wrench.
There's Nightwing,
and
there's Tim Drake.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the dead one.
Yes, Jason Todd, who's no longer dead. Don't look at me like that. He's not dead. Yeah, I'm serious. Only Bucky stays dead, and they even broke that fucking rule.
How and Jason Todd is...
Well, he might be Red Robin. I'm very confused about where the hell his status is. He might be this thing called Red Robin. He might be the Red Hood. He might be the replacement for Black Mask. I can't tell.
So he's a bad guy now, theoretically.
He has been very bad. He's definitely not on the side of the light.
He's been very bad. You've been a very bad dead superhero. What, you jackass? Oh my god! What about the chick? What happened to her? Spoiler? Or?
Apparently she's back. I don't read Robin. I don't read Nightwing. I don't read Teen Titans or Birds of Prey. But
that's a lot of things you don't read. Thanks for that list.
There's
I also don't read
8,000 comic books being published. So.
I don't read Ayn Rand. I don't read. What? This is for you. I read Ayn Rand. I mean, you're on your own, sir.
But I've heard other podcasts talking about, is Spoiler going to take on some mantle? Is she going to be... But then I heard she died, and there was this huge feminist campaign to get her back because of the method of her death that people were just amazingly overwrought about.
What?
Well, apparently there was this trend. Being out of it for like 6 years, I'm still picking up a shitload of things that I've missed in all that time. So apparently there was this trend where in the DC universe, women were dying in refrigerators.
I remember that in Green Lantern.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. So every time you turned around, every quarter somebody was killing some hero's girlfriend in a refrigerator.
And Spoiler was playing in a dumpster somewhere and got trapped in a refrigerator and died.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Really?
But after an extended torture sequence of 3 friggin' issues. So the feminists were up in arms about that, and because I don't know anything about Spoiler. I never heard of her before I heard about this campaign to bring her back.
Well,
so I'm what the hell are you talking about?
Let's be fair. Back when Robin was beat to death, or Jason Todd, who's now no longer dead, was beaten to death with a crowbar and a helicopter. And Nambla did try to bring him back as well. So there has been this kind of movement in the past. Just to be fair.
I don't remember Nambla getting involved, but...
Good God. I really don't think anybody needs to die in a refrigerator. So I suppose protesting that, the fact that it's a girl dying in a refrigerator doesn't seem to me as bad as the fact that somebody died in a refrigerator.
Yeah, well, like you said, anybody dying in the refrigerator is not necessarily, the method of choice.
Yes, we here at the Mean Geek would like people to know in the outside world that we are against people dying in refrigerators. Thanks for listening.
So ends today's PSA.
That was brought to you by the letters C, R, A, and P.
I'm going to have to cut out 10 seconds of silence there because I just have no idea how to react to that.
Well,
But that's okay because I can edit it out. I'm writing down it's 28 minutes, 30 seconds.
I'll have you know that my mother died in a refrigerator before I was born. And that's why I'm the way I am today.
That's incredibly creepy.
Yeah, also not true for the record. All right.
Because I have met your mom. She was okay.
Yes.
There was no refrigerators nearby.
Particularly if it had happened before I was born, jackass. All right, so you're reading Bats, but other than being dead, how's he doing?
Well, being the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was irritating because I didn't catch the entire storyline. But apparently the guy, and this seems very Batmanish thing, apparently he created this alternate personality for himself if the kind of overwrought, overworked, sleep-deprived situation like happened in Nightfall happened again.
Yeah.
He could let his mind slip into a whole different personality that was far more brutal and energetic. And
The infamous Bryce Lane.
the Who's He Witch?
Well, you take Bruce Wayne and then you slightly change it.
Yes. Okay, very good. Didn't catch that at first, but all right, very good. So, that's what's happening with bats. Yeah.
You were reading Wonder Woman for a while. You still?
Oh no, I was still reading Wonder Woman.
Okay.
It's very good. I like what Gail Simone's doing with it. There's a crazy ass storyline going on right now with I forget how it got created, but apparently there's this being of pure and utter malice that is called genocide, and it's like many other crappy villains where I was created to kill. So, but it beat the living piss out of Wonder Woman and stole her lasso. So now we got this incredibly homicidal, apocalyptic creature running around with the lasso of truth, and apparently there's now other powers to the lasso.
Really? Because I'm really finding it difficult to imagine a homicidal maniac monster named Genocide tying people down so it will tell the truth to them before it kills them. That seems a tad unnecessary.
You ever think that you ever think there's situations where Diana made a mistake using that lasso?
I feel that a lot of people have more truth than I want to know.
Yes, that's
so I can only
exactly
assume
my
that
point.
From panel to panel, there's other things coming out that aren't as pertinent that I don't want to know. If we were to remove it from the comic book world, I think that'd be a horrible thing.
Yep.
Particularly since it's a strikingly attractive woman tying men up and asking them
things. That's
things.
exactly my point.
Yeah, I thought it might be.
So what is the truth? Tell me. I want to nuzzle.
Yeah, not appropriate for the comic page.
But it's good. I dig it. I'll keep going with it. I'm kind of up against the wall about Hulk because this whole red thing is kind of weird. But I'm enjoying Cho's stuff on it. I wish they'd just get to the fucking point already. I don't want this thing to be 2 trades before I find out who the hell the Red Hulk is and why we should give a shit.
Well, there's been green, gray, red.
When else was he red?
No, that's now.
That's now. Oh, I stick with the green or the gray. The gray is very traditional. It's very back to basics, root type stuff. And, the green is the established long time. This is the freaking Hulk stuff. What is it, 9 issues now? They still haven't figured out where the hell he came from?
I'd like to see him in a nice pinstripe.
Well, that was his Mr. Fix-It days.
No, I mean as a tone, because he's got 2 personalities.
Oh, for God's sake.
So think about it for a moment. Don't just totally, if he were all black with little gray stripes, you'd have an entirely different Hulk. Because it would be symbolize the Hulk personality and the Tiny Banner personality in the Giants.
Now, would he want $3 million for second base?
Probably.
Okay, yeah. Because, evil pinstripes.
Yep.
You
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yankee humor.
Yeah. Not very good, but I don't give a shit because I hate sports.
Good to know.
What else? Is there anything at all you even think about you're looking forward to? Have you heard anything anywhere about comics that you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to grab that?
Well, Watchmen, the movie is coming out in a week.
Yeah, but you got the book, so you
True.
know the story. So that's not...
No, I still pick things up, obviously. The Walking Dead, Invincible, Robert Kirkman stuff.
Yes, very good.
I like that a lot.
He's got a Wolfman book now.
Yeah.
I heard it wasn't doing so hot, though.
Well...
So maybe a third book is beyond his...
Well, he's also got Brit and Capes. The man that works tech. There's a lot of books floating around there. But it's really hard to make a captivating Wolfman story.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why there ain't any besides that right now.
I mean, sure, you got Benicio del Toro coming out with a remake of Wolfman, so we'll see
Is
if
he
he can do
really?
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Don't you just love saying that name, no? Benicio.
Not particularly. I see where you're going, but no, I do not wake up in the middle of the night going, I need to say Benicio. And now cookies. No.
Well, that might have been a little excessive, waking up in the... you're... Never mind. So, comics. There's going to be a lot of editing in here. Anytime I see a relatively flat area, I'm just going to go snip. But you're getting to that goddamn con.
Yes, no, I promise you I will go to a Comic-Con because I need to be surrounded by the great unwashed, apparently.
Actually, it's been very, very good at New York. I only encountered the fanboy funk once. All right, well, you figure 35 minutes is enough of this stuff for an introductory kind of inaugural, holy shit, what the hell are we going to do with this thing kind of episode?
I think that most people have already tuned out by now, really.
Yeah,
it's been a long and rambling, pointless introduction.
Actually, a pretty good bet.
Really. I, for one, am ashamed to be a part of this, and I look forward to being ashamed of doing this in the future.
Very good. Well, having established that, we should get a tagline, huh?
A what?
A tagline. A little, something to say at the end of an episode.
Like the same thing or a different line?
Yeah, the same thing every time. So we know the people know that we're like, we're done.
So something for the creatively bankrupt.
Yes, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Because
cool.
Ian Levinstein has "There is always time for comics," and there's a bunch of them.
Well, and one, so they're very memorable. I see. All right, well then.
Oh, there's one from Around Comics. There's we'll see you in and around comics.
All right, well, and what's your idea of a tagline?
I don't really have one. I just mentioned that we should think of one.
All right, and this is the Reverend Mad Duck saying, "Go home."
And this is the Tech Jedi saying, "Fucking out of here."
Bye.